U.S. law allows use of certain copyrighted materials under certain circumstances, such as teaching, reporting, criticism, and parody. It's called fair use. Satanic Illuminati news is an example of those four things. I'm at the Atlantic news feed today, a self-proclaimed liberal news feed of a much higher brow than the Daily Beast, the other self-proclaimed liberal news feed I've covered. The top left corner we find the Manafort story, the independent counsel's indictment. Gates pled guilty. What's going on here is the careful discrediting and eventual elimination of people like me who insist or try to or hope to somehow make their way to the truth through these news stories. Now, they've already begun, but eventually they will equate any so-called truther, conspiracy theorist, awake person, blah, 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 to Russian meddling. And soon they will start using the word Russian interference when it comes to YouTube truthers, say, or conspiracy theorists, or people affected by this great vibrational change we're going through, waking up to the absurdity of the story they're being asked to believe. This is absurd. Special counsel given a target instead of a crime. A special counsel on a fishing expedition justifying any crime some person may have committed in the past, whether or not it's related to the topic which they are researching. These indictments have nothing to do with Manafort or Gates' activities during their time with Trump or the Trump campaign, are actually totally unrelated to the presidential campaign that they're investigating. How is that being allowed to happen? That's a blatant partisan witch hunt that no one is calling bullshit on. Not even the conservatives are doing it. What does that tell you? My God, we have almost brought this man Assad down all over the petrodollar. Syria, Iran, Russia and China, Lebanon, Iraq, all these countries that we're going to war and about to go to war with, including North Korea, all these countries, what they want to do, that we don't want them to do, is to stop using the U.S. petrodollar as their secure currency for international trade. That's what these wars are about, you dumbasses. Money, money, money. Bankers, bankers, bankers. And yet you believe these stories. Now, I hesitate to call these stories of civilian casualties, of beautiful babies being bombed, fake, because they are not. The only fake aspect of it is who's doing it. You're being told one thing, and the truth is the opposite. But that's not going to stand much longer. People are waking up. People actually are coming around to that. It was a big moment when Trump said Obama was the founder of ISIS. Everyone knew he was speaking so much truth that they wondered how he could get away with it. The reason he can get away with it is because they know that paradigm is falling and they're going to help bring it down because they want to be the ones already started construction on the new paradigm. Don't let them do it. Don't let them get in on the ground floor or whatever rebirth is about to happen. They can't be in charge. And make no mistake, they are completely in charge. They are leading the population and its opinion and perception around like a bull with a ring through its nose. Now, all the bull has to do is decide it doesn't want to be led one more second, and with one sweep of its head, rid itself of those controllers. That's us. That's us. All we have to do is decide we're not going to be led by the nose for one more second. And just shake them off. Because these highbrow articles are lies. They sell a version of the events that they so desperately want you to believe. But let me tell you, their desperation is showing. In 1980, in the run-up to the presidential race, remember at the time, we had hostages in Iran. The economy was terrible. Reagan was seen as a buffoon to most, an actor who had somehow gotten to be governor of California and who was just really just a mouthpiece for the worst and most mean-spirited kind of conservatives in those days. He came out with a little infomercial, I guess you would have to call it, in which he advocated basically eliminating the borders between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and creating a large region in North America, basically one nation, the North American continent. He says basically that. So think about that for a second. Erasing the borders in 1980 was a hardline conservative position. Erasing the borders in 2018 is a hardline liberal position. Progressive position. So which is it? Obviously the answer is that it's both, but how can that be? How could both sides of an opposite argument be working towards the same end? Oh my God, that doesn't make any sense. Wake up, moron. Oh, look. We're exporting the Russian meddling. How would you like to purchase our package of instant nullification of your elections here? Russian meddling, $9.99 a month. You can say that all of your elections were the result of Russian meddling, and that basically everyone needs to be indicted, and the system is collapsed, all because of Russian meddling. Russian meddling. Get it here, folks. United States of America, where the best ideas are born. What's up with autism? When I think about my ideas of autism through my life, it really began with the ideas of idiot savants. I remember seeing them on 60 Minutes and whatnot, these incredible kids who couldn't speak or anything, but they could play piano, and they could play music, and they could do math, and they could make art. I had a experience with that. A girl I dated and loved worked with autistic children as an art therapist, and she used to bring home some drawings this one kid did that were absolutely stunning. He would hold a crayon in his fist, like a knife, and just very quickly scribble all across the page. And then when he was done, there was an incredible picture there with perspective and feeling and mood. It was amazing. And then, Rain Man came out. And then after that, we started to remember Rain Man was a very high-functioning autistic. And that's true. That I bore that out in my own experience. If you said someone was autistic, basically you were saying that person is, in the corner with a football helmet on, banging his head against the wall. That's what autism really is, okay? But Now autism has become like slight mental retardation. It seems like every kid's got autism. What's up with that? I'm sorry, but shouldn't we investigate if over the past 30, whatever, my lifetime, biological changes to the brain are so great that something that was an extreme mental illness is now diffused into the population? I mean, shouldn't we stop for a minute and research on that? Find out what's causing it? Stop doing some of the things we're doing until we know they're not causing it? I mean, wouldn't that be a common sense approach? Yeah, I'm not even clicking on that. There's great cognitive dissonance in my mind about the founding fathers of this nation, because I believe in my gut they were Luciferians, and that they looked at the United States of America as their opportunity to create, to make up a country, a nation from scratch, from ideas rather than ethnicity. And they did. They wrote it down, U.S. Constitution, first 10 amendments, blah, blah, blah. Longest standing constitution on the face of the earth, whatever. It's a great document taken out of context. Just as, say, the teachings of Christ are great, taken out of the context of Christianity. I feel an affinity for the Constitution. I understand it, how it works, how it was meant to work, and I understand what Ben Franklin meant when he said, we've given you a republic if you can keep it. We didn't keep it long. And we need to get it back. But what's up with the Second Amendment? I mean, oh my God, the phrasing of it, it's just like, okay, the very famous Crowley quote, right? Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law, comma, under love. Now, what the fuck? Why didn't he just say, do what thou wilt under love is the whole of the law? Why not? He carefully did not, because he wanted to make a point. It's a message. It's a wink. He's saying, oh, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. And what you're going to use to justify it is love. Under the umbrella of love, you will be allowed to do whatever you want. You see how grammar makes a difference? Well, what's up with the Second Amendment? This whole thing about a militia, a well-organized or whatever militia. Therefore, you should have the inalienable whatever that you can't take. They qualify it, and then they unqualify it. So, did they do that on purpose? They had to, of course. These were intelligent men. So, the Founding Fathers embedded this dissonance in the Second Amendment by saying you couldn't take away a person's right to bear arms, but also saying in the exact same sentence that the reason they had that right to bear arms was because a well-organized militia is necessary. So which one is it? Does an individual have the right to have guns no matter what? Or does the community have a right to a well-organized militia, and therefore an individual gets the right to maintain guns? It's a big difference. Is it an individual right? Or is it a privilege? If it's an inalienable individual right, then there's no argument. We either amend the Constitution or just shut up. And by the way, this movement to outlaw rifles and long guns is racist, you fucking racist motherfuckers. Why don't you take a look at the stats on your little computers and find out what kind of guns are killing the most people in this nation? And you'll find that handguns, that Glocks and 9mm are murdering African Americans, tens of them every day in our nation's cities. Oh, but 17 white kids got shot up in Florida. That's fucking fake, by the way. Now, I'm not saying those kids didn't die. There's nothing fake about that. I hope no one died, but I bet they did. Because these fuckers don't care about people. They'll kill 100 people. They'll kill 3,000 people. They don't give a fuck. Death doesn't mean shit. They love death. Are you kidding? They worship death. What do you think the skull and bones is about? So, my solution to the gun problem, and make no mistake, it's a problem, because of our founding fathers were fucking with us when they gave us the Second Amendment. Make no mistake, they were fucking with us. My only solution, I don't think you could ban guns. I don't think you could do anything legislatively to solve this problem at all. People must make the choice to lay down their guns. Love must rule, and peace will follow. Just as day follows the sunrise, if love rules, then peace will